few days ago, MSI sent out their latest motherboard, the X299 Gaming Pro Carbon AC. But that's not all they included, because inside the box was also an Intel 10-core CPU. And I wanted to put these things together in a full PC build guide that can show you exactly what this stuff can do, especially when it's been overclocked. So while performance will be in part 2, this bit's all going to be about the build goodness. And so, as I've already stated, we did start with the motherboard, which was an X299 Gaming Pro Carbon AC, which is not the cheapest board, it's not the most expensive in the X299 range, but I have to say that I really do like the design of it. And I'm not just talking about the fact that they've rather nicely included some custom PC Centric finished bits for it, but just in its raw state, I think that it's one of the best looking motherboards you can get on the platform. And then couple that with the fact that you've also got two M.2 slots with their new heat shield that should actually do a better job of keeping your SSD from thermal throttling, and just a whole host of features, and of course including things like quad channel RAM, that just mean that it's going to be a very serious PC that you're putting together. The processor that I've got is the Intel 7900X, which is very expensive. It's available for just under £1,000 at the time of filming, but it's 10 cores, so if you're doing anything that really requires a lot of power, then this is definitely going to be one of the best choices. In fact, at the time of filming, you can't really get anything better than this, although of course AMD Threadripper and then Intel's newer CPUs that are going to have up to, 18 cores or something like that, is definitely going to give this thing a good run for its money. Then in the meantime, this is the fastest thing you can get. To cool it, we've got Coolermaster's Masterliquid Pro 240, and while it's not the absolute quietest cooler out there, if you want to do cooling, which is probably what you want to do because you're buying a cooler, then this can keep temperatures under check, and we'll be discussing that a bit later in part 2 when we actually look at thermals. Now, RAM-wise, it's RGB year, isn't it? So we sort of do need to go for RGB RAM. So Corsair helpfully provided 32 gigs of quad channel RAM, and this is running at 3000 MHz for a total of 32 gigabytes. You can customize this all in software and make it look as jazzy, or not as jazzy, as you like. Moving down the system, we've got our GPU, which we went for something a little bit held back and reserved, which was a GTX 1080 Ti water-cooled, and this is from MSI and Corsair, so it's got an all-in-one 120mm water-cooled radiator on it as well, which is quite remarkable really, because it means your temperatures are going to stay very, very low, and more impressive to me at least is the fact that it's going to remain not completely silent but very, very close to it. Booting up a game, your PC is not really going to make any more noise at all. Sure, if you're stressing it and you're overclocking it, then yes, it will. But compared to an air-cooled card, it's pretty much night and day, really, just how quiet your system can be without compromising on performance. As far as storage is concerned, obviously it's going to depend entirely on what you want to go for in your use case, but I like going SSD only for a quieter and hum-free system. So we've got a single 480GB SATA SSD from Corsair, and this is the XTi. Obviously, if you want more performance, then go for a PCIe variant, or if you want to store a lot of games, then you're probably going to want to put a normal spinning hard drive in here as well, and then maybe have like a smaller SSD as a boot drive. And then finally, to power this whole thing, we've gone for a Coolermaster V750. It's a modular power supply, and it pretty much has enough juice for everything we want to do. Though if you do want to grab an extra graphics card and run it in SLI, you will want to up this to probably around about 1000 watts to be on the safe side, but things are getting a lot more efficient these days, so 750 should be more than what we need for this rig. In terms of actually building it, well, I built inside a Rajintek Asterion Plus, and in this case it was a very good choice, I think, actually for what I was trying to do here, because it's got almost like a classic look about it. It's not particularly in your face, it doesn't really have any RGB or anything like that. It's quite peculiar in the sense that you've got doors on both the left and right hand side, so while you can see into your rig, there's no tempered glass, but you can also see the bad side of your rig, I guess, through the tinted plastic window on the right. But as far as the build experience goes, I have to say that this is one of the easiest cases in recent memory to get everything in. The motherboard went in without any real hitch at all. Even installing both the radiators, there's plenty of room to do this, and I'm not entirely sure really in terms of placement where's best for the radiators. I've done my setup that should be best for temperatures here, at the cost maybe of appearance, because I've got a radiator at the top for the CPU with those two cooling tubes coming down, and then the GPU being used as an exhaust. And the reason for this is because I want the two fans on the front to be an intake and sort of draw cool air in, and then sort of be evenly distributed to both the CPU and GPU coolers. But if you want to make this thing maybe look a little bit nicer, then you should probably put the radiator at the front of the case, but it's going to be entirely up to you. So yeah, build was very simple, and I'm left with a PC that I think I'd be very, very happy to use. I'm sure it won't be in the studio for very long, because MSI want their 10-core chip back. I'm getting everything ready behind me now for the benchmarks that will be coming for you very, very soon. But I've been using it over the last sort of couple of days, and while there definitely was a hiccup getting the initial setup, because Windows decided to try and install a wrong driver for the network features of the motherboard, which then blue screened the PC every single time I turned it on, so I had to reinstall Windows and then quickly install the driver manually, which was a little bit annoying. But I do like the fact that the case has 4 USB 3.0 up on the top, and I just think it's a great looking system, bar the fact that there are definitely a lot of water cooling pipes going on here. I'm sure you have some things to say about the appearance of this system. Let me know down in the comments section below. Let me know if you're excited for part 2 and whether you want to see real in-depth benchmarks of the X299 system, and if you want to see the other chips in the X299 range compared as well. And yeah, just any thoughts, I guess, leave them down in the comments below. Subscribe for more videos just like this. Like the video if you've liked it, and I'll hopefully see you in part 2. For storage, we've got a Crucial, no we don't. The thing I've got here is a 480GB Crucial, I've said Crucial again, it's Corsair. To power this whole thing, we've gone for a Coolermaster. For powering this thing, we've got Corsair, I've done it again!